Hi, I'm Paul.
And I'm Tiffany.
To some, we could be called career wizards.
And to others, sometimes we seem like therapists. However, we definitely are not.
But for you, we are the co hosts of the Career Boosters podcast.
Chasing things, saying yes to things. And I think that once you become someone who says yes more often, um, that is where growth happens. So I would just encourage students to say yes to whatever they can and chase the things that they want genuinely.
Hello and welcome to the Career Boosters podcast, season 2, episode 27. As we sit here getting close to the middle of April, classes have ended. They ended yesterday. Final exams are close. They are on the horizon. And internship experiences for some of our interns, and specifically our interns with careers and work integrated learning, are coming to an end. We have a wonderful guest today. Vivika Sharma. Vivika has been our CWIL intern for the last several months. I couldn't remember how long months, but a lot of months in the last little bit. And today we're going to chat with her about her internship experience, what it's like to work on a team with Tiffany and Paul. I can't imagine it would be crazy. And all of the people that are a part of our CWIL team. We're also going to talk a little bit about personal brand. Vivika had a really awesome opportunity to do some peer-to-peer education around what personal brand looks like. And I'm not sure why, but she came and asked me a couple questions. So to help out a little bit with what that can look like. And I felt very honored that she came to me and asked me. And but I think when I think about Vivika, she is way ahead of the curve when it comes to the understanding of brand and what brand can do for us as we maneuver through both our professional and our personal lives. So Vivika, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And the first question that we have, tell us about how you became the CWIL communications intern and about the education journey that you've been on so far.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me on here. Super excited. Yeah, so I'm currently doing my bilingual Bachelor of Commerce at the U of A, with a major in marketing. And I started my cooperative education journey back in the winter of 2024. Time flies, back in the winter of 2024. And soon after that, I applied for this role within CWIL. So I'm the program and comm support intern now, and I do like some of the marketing stuff. And then, yeah, did interviews for that, landed the role, and I've been here for 12 months. But prior to that, I was also at the City of Edmonton as a communication summer student for 4 months. And then I've also had the opportunity to do an exchange program with the University of Laval, which is in Quebec. And yeah, so that's kind of overview of my journey and how I landed up at CWIL.
12 months. When Paul was saying he didn't quite remember how many months it's been, my head was like, yeah, I don't really either. It's funny, you've just blended so seamlessly into our team and do work far above a level of an intern that he and I clearly have just not even remembered that you've been here for a year because you are part of our team. And
We're
it's been
also we're
really,
also old,
we
Tiffany.
are
We're
also
old,
old.
so that's
It's
the
true.
memory
T
fades.
time is different when you get to be our age. Viveka, thank you so much for what you've brought to our team, first off. It's been a lovely last year, and I think you've got some really great tidbits to share with us today. Tell us, though, first, take us back through what has it been like to work with the CWIL team in your role? Paul and joked it might be interesting to work with Paul and I, but just what's it been like for the last year for you?
Yeah, so I would say the last year it's been a journey in like the best way possible. A lot of it has been understanding so many different teams and how they integrate together. And I think that often as an intern, it can be kind of difficult to bridge that gap between certain teams, which has been my experience in the past. But I feel like at CWIL, that was something that I feel like already existed despite being in that role where I'm needing to bridge the gap between different teams. So I've really always loved and appreciated that about the CWIL team. I think everyone communicates so effortlessly and of course, everyone gets along so nicely. So coming into work every day just is such a nice place to be. And yeah, like I think if I compare myself to where I am now compared to when I started, there's been a lot of course, technical development, but I would say a lot of interpersonal development for me as well. Coming into the role, I would say I didn't have some of those forward-facing skills that I would like to have, such as public speaking, just because I had never been in roles that really tested that for me. But looking at myself where I am now, now that I'm almost done and I have about 14 days left in the internship, I would say I've developed on those skills a lot. So yeah, like my journey at CWIL has been honestly amazing and I would do it again.
That's so cool. For anybody that may not understand what CWIL is, it's careers and work integrated learning for the whole school of business. So, what we are responsible for, we are responsible for work integrated learning pieces, just like Vivica is doing right now, an internship with us. But students go in and out of different business places. We have experiential learning, so that's where people go to like snapshots of different companies and things like that. And then finally, we have career education. Tiffany and I live in that space for master's students in career education, and then we have a team that works on the undergrad side. So, Vivica, when you think about looking at all of these like different siloed pieces and all of the things that we've done together, the team meetings that we all get to be a part of, and things like that, I'm interested to see like what was it like to kind of be first being thrown into these team meetings and you see all of these experienced professionals doing all of this work and things like that. What was it like kind of stepping in initially when you first came into the team? What did you notice?
Um, so actually what I did at the very beginning of my internship was do a lot of one-on-ones with everyone in the office. I thought it was important for me to get to know everyone on a personal level and then kind of breach off into working with the teams. That way I could understand what everyone's individual role was and who I go to for what, essentially. That was also helping me figure all that out. But once it came to communicating within the teams, I think it's really interesting to see how, although of course we're one office, careers and work integrated learning, there is so much that comes out of us and seeing like the dedication and focus that each team has to delivering that incredible student experience. I just saw a lot of vibrancy, honestly, and commitment towards student culture and student life. I can say myself, like prior to becoming an intern at CWIL, I don't think I realized how much effort that the CWIL teams really put into producing all of these events and sessions that go out towards students, especially in their undergrad years. So yeah, it's been really nice. I feel like I've gotten to learn so much from every single team. And of course, being able to carry that forward and kind of bring their work out to students through the marketing and communications work I've been able to do over the last 12 months has been such an honor. Um, but yeah, I think like honestly, I've learned so much from all the different teams here. And since they all touch on different things, it's been really important for me to grasp why their perspectives may be different compared to me as a student and kind of meeting in the middle with certain things. So yeah, it's been a very amazing experience working with all the different teams here.
You bring a vital perspective. So our entire team serves students, but we would be remiss if we didn't have students within our mix to be able to offer different perspectives. And you have offered some brilliant ones. There's times in meetings where we will ask for interns' opinions and thoughts, and you have always offered such brilliant ones, but really insightful, really understanding the student experience, not just your own. And so it's just been a lovely balance that our team always needs, and you've brought it beautifully. What's been the best part? What have you loved about working for the last year with CWIL?
Definitely the community for me. I will say like I love the way I love our culture. I believe that it really does align with my like personal values and that this is just the way that we all interact with each other has been so amazing. And kind of going back to what I said before, but everyone is super passionate about what they do. And I think that that really shows through the work that we do at CWIL. That's been something that I've just like absolutely adored being around. And it's been so inspiring as well as a student who's trying to like figure out, okay, what's next, what's coming in the future. I think it's really important to look at people around you who are so happy with what they do and look forward to, continuing their work every day and kind of picking up those pieces and kind of learning from them and thinking, okay, what is this person considering and how do they show up every day? I really do think I've
Hmm.
learned a lot just observing those around me. Yeah.
Hmm. What a great way to learn. What about the flip side? What's challenged you the most to grow, would you say, in the last year?
I think honestly stepping outside of my comfort zone in terms of, so this may come off as a surprise, but I grew up very, very introverted and very shy. And I think that probably I'm now in my fourth year of uni, but I think around my second year, I was like, hey, it's time to come out of that shell a little bit if I want to, get to where I want to be. And I feel like that was something that I initially had a little bit of a challenge with here. Especially once fall semester started. I love being upfront with students, like in this forward-facing roles, like at our events and stuff like that. But I will say that at first, maybe there's a little bit of that fear of like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, or I don't know if my approach to how I communicate is like the best thing possible. And I think that I actually had to work on not being super focused on perfection and just being more authentic in the
Yeah.
moment. So that was, yeah, I would say that I had grown a lot prior to coming to CWIL, of course, but some of those little things that I had left over that I really needed to challenge, I've been able to work on over this year. And a lot of that has been some of that, yeah, public facing stuff.
Mhm. That's so cool. When I'm going to go back to kind of a response of what you've really enjoyed, this cohesive group of people who really love what they do. We're sure not here for the money in the public service world. We're here to help students, right? And I think it starts from great leadership. Amber is a great leader. I think we also have people that are really dedicated to the work that they do and what they love to do, right? And I can relate wholeheartedly to the introversion as you grow up and not understanding where the world lies. The perfectionism, you try to like harness that as much as possible, but I am much, much older than you, Vivica, and that sometimes doesn't go away. You sometimes need to challenge your own thoughts and perceptions, right? And I love that you're doing that at such a young age, and I think only great things are gonna follow that. If you could go back in time and give yourself a little pep talk before you were gonna come and work as an intern with the Careers and Work Integrated Learning team, what would that be? What would that look like, that little pep talk for yourself?
Yeah, I would tell myself to be very open to anything that could come my way. I think I have done a very good job of doing that. I don't recall ever saying no to any projects that came my way, but I would encourage myself to also be someone who brings things forth when necessary. I think maybe in the beginning, and of course this comes back to kind of like finding your place within the team and looking at, okay, like is what's appropriate and what's inappropriate to bring up in certain atmospheres. But I think I would really challenge myself to, of course, say yes as much as I can, but also bring forth the ideas that I may have, because of course, as we're connecting with students, I do carry that student perspective, which I learned to do over time, and I think the teams have really appreciated that. And also just advocating for myself too. I think that I've really been able to practice those skills here at CWIL. I've been able to step up and say like, hi, I don't think this will work the way we want it to. Here's an alternative. And I think that, yeah, I don't think I've really had a big chance to develop on that skill before I got here, but I would tell myself to not be scared to challenge myself. I think in the beginning maybe I was a little timid, of course, but yeah, I think when you work in the same place for 12 months,
Mhm.
you find your place eventually and you're able to challenge those things.
And I think we've seen that for sure. We've seen that growth in you. And you've talked about growth a few times, that you've grown in many different ways. You just talked about a few ones. What's the one area that you say you've grown the most in the last 12? Really specific. What biggest shift have you seen?
I would say my biggest shift has definitely been my confidence and the way I carry myself. And I think that, of course, translates over into success within my professional life, but also success within my personal life. Um, I think doing this internship has put me in spots sometimes where I'm required to make certain decisions and kind of rely on myself and my knowledge and say, like, okay, I've built up this experience, I have these perspectives, I know what's wanted, but how do I think I can create this in the best way possible? So I think for me, a lot of repeating that sequence of events over and over again just really built up that confidence that I believe I hold within myself now. And I can see that translating easily. Like we just spoke about how maybe when I came in, I was a little more timid. I was worried about like whether I was communicating right with people and just like being in my head about things. But I feel like now genuinely I'm in a spot where things come so naturally. I don't have to think as much. Honestly, like I feel like I can just talk and it works in like public settings, but also personal settings. And I really do I do believe that that comes from um, a spot where I'm finally super comfortable with myself. And I believe that I hone the skills that I have. And yeah, that second guessing, I think, has been, of course, not gone, but it's been diluted quite a bit. So I
Yeah.
think that's a key part for me. Yeah.
That's so cool. It's a fascinating place to trust yourself in the work that you do, hey? It's like you have trust, you have confidence, but sometimes we make mistakes, but it's also learning from those mistakes, and it's this opportunity to continually grow and continually to just build ourselves up, right? And so that leads me into the next question all around kind of personal branding. You had come to me a couple of months ago and said, I'm doing this brand presentation. I get to present to a whole bunch of students around personal brand. Tell us what that was like to put that together and then what was that like to present it?
Yeah, so the process was actually a few months long. So I think we started prepping for it 3 to 4 months before it began, just because, so it was me, an intern from arts, or sorry, two interns from arts and then an intern from sciences as well. And essentially, we were like, okay, let's bring something forward to students. It started off with some brainstorming of what do we want to do. And then we all ended up landing on personal branding, just because we felt like that was a super important conversation right now, especially with how competitive the job landscape has become. And yeah, so our first step there was doing a lot of research. It was really important for us as individuals, for the four of us to understand what personal branding is and what it means to us. We wanted to make sure that the information we were delivering to students was, of course, authentic, but also factual. So doing a lot of that research ourselves and finding what reasons for us was the first step. And then that's when I contacted Paul as well to just be like, hi, Paul, do you think we have everything in the right place? And then after that came a lot of the prep. So creating the presentation, and then the logistics work of booking the space, thinking about like catering for the event and all that. And then yeah, over the next few weeks leading up to the event, we really just focused on getting that presentation as polished as we could, but also being engaging. So we had a worksheet component in there as well. And yeah, then came the day of presenting, and the interaction that we got from students was wonderful, and the turnout was great. It was a higher turnout that they had seen in the previous few years for the same like intern workshop, because it is a yearly thing that happens with a different subject every year. And yeah, students responded really well, and we actually got a lot of thank yous at the end of it, and even some appreciation emails, which was really nice. So yeah.
Hmm. That's a big effort for all of you. And like you said, multi-month process. What's your biggest takeaway, biggest learning from doing all that?
I think for me, of course, I was learning as I was going. So the research part of it was a lot of information for me as well that I needed to digest and understand. And my biggest takeaway would be, I think while doing the research, I kind of was also going through periods of reflection, like self-reflection, and thinking, okay, how am I mirroring this in my personal and professional life? And what brand am I really carrying forward? So for me, my biggest takeaway genuinely was having that period of time where I was able to be like, okay, I'm talking to other students about this, but what am I doing that's helping me progress with this topic and this area of my life? And more specifically within the presentation, I was focusing on building your brand further once you're in the workplace. So for me, it was kind of direct correlation right there with, okay, like how have I grown over the year at CWIL? And how might the team see me differently now compared to when I first came in last year? So yeah, my biggest takeaway definitely would be that self-reflection component that I was able to do.
And having I saw one of your trial runs, you guys, and you guys did such an awesome job. It's I feel like you guys are going to come after my job at some point. So you guys did such an amazing piece of work, and to have all of that and be like lessons learned and grow and develop your own brand at the same time, so cool. What's next for Vivica? What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, so um what's next? So right now I'm currently team captain for a fusion dance team on campus. So right after I'm done here at CWIL, we have our competition season coming up. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, we've been working on our piece for about 10 months now, so a lot of hard work has gone into it. So we're excited. We're going to be traveling a little bit for the competitions as well. So that's what's coming up right away. But after that, just going back to classes. I was exploring the idea of doing an internship this summer too, but I'm going into my final year in fall, and I was like, okay, maybe it's time to just focus on classes for now. And then, yeah, I'm set to graduate in April of 2026. So that's going to catch up very soon.
Mhm.
And then I will go wherever the wind takes me. Yeah, I think I'm just really focused on finding the best work opportunity for me. I'm not picky about where I go. Not entirely picky about, of course, I know what stream I want to continue in marketing. Communications, I really do believe is my thing, and I love the graphic design part of it, the social media part of it. So kind of sticking in there and growing my skills in that area. And then, yeah, like I said, we'll see where the wind takes me. I'm open to anything, honestly. Yeah.
And I very much am confident that no matter where the wind takes you, you are going to make a big splash and big impact in just the way that Vivica can.
Thank
If
you.
there's one small piece of advice, just little, because often that's the best advice, the little bits that we pick up, what would you offer for students right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I believe, and I think this kind of comes back to what I said earlier about what advice I would give myself. But honestly, say yes to things. I think that your university student experience is truly what you make it. You can either decide to make it the best 4 to 5 years of your life and really channel all of that growth, or you can decide to not do that. Like,
Mhm.
genuinely, I really do think that it's just a matter of chasing things, saying yes to things. And I think that once you become someone who says yes more often, um, that is where growth happens. So I would just encourage students to say yes to whatever they can and chase the things that they want genuinely. I think first year me probably needed to hear that a lot because like I said, I think I stepped out of my shell more so in my towards the end of my second year, beginning of my third year. But yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice. Just chase things you want, say yes, don't be scared. We're all here to just try things and figure them out. So
Mhm.
if you ever feel like, oh, I don't want to try this because I'm worried I'll mess it up, everyone here is messed up more than once. So
Yes.
don't be in your head about it.
I will speak for both Paul and I that that's not just a student experience. That worry of messing things up or not sure if you're gonna figure it out. Yeah, that just spoiler alert, that continues through life in case you thought maybe you'd outgrow it. We haven't. So, but you are navigating it beautifully. All right, you ready for a lightning round as we wrap things up?
Yes, sounds good.
Cool. Three quick questions, three gut answers. What part of your education or career journey so far has given you the biggest boost?
I think my exchange program with the University of Laval as a business development officer has definitely boosted everything for me, honestly.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you wish you'd learned sooner?
Again, just don't be in your head about things. Be
Mhm.
confident, say yes, put yourself out there.
Cool. Paul and I are just so focused on service. It's just something that we do naturally every part of our day. And so we're always curious to hear how service is going to show up for you in the coming week.
Yeah, I truly do believe that service is in the little things you do every day. So whether that's, keeping a door open for someone or grabbing a coffee for your coworkers, I believe it's the little things in the everyday. So although I can't answer exactly how, I'm sure that throughout the week it'll come up.
Lovely. All right, Paul, what do you got for Paul's random question?
I'm gonna just I want to make one little statement, and then I'm gonna ask the question. Viveka and I and another intern, we had a very funny interaction. It was like maybe 4 or 5 months ago around like a celebrity. It was one of the like highlights of like my last like 3 or 4 years in working here. And so Viveka, thanks for being nice to an old bald guy that like wanted to just enjoy kind of the experience of working with people that are just very different than yourself. So that's something that I will remember for a long time. So that was super funny and awesome. But my question comes in the world of dance. So you are a dancer. I want to know, what is your favorite song to put on when you just need to get up and dance and move?
That's a really good question. That's a hard one though, because I feel like it depends on your mood and what you want to channel in the moment. It's a lighter song, so maybe not like a get up and let loose crazy, but just like a general like feel good and move nicely song. So it's called Bachke Bachke by Karan Aujla. I'm actually tr like I do a lot of my cultural dancing. So that's something that I hold really close to my heart, super important to me. And yeah, I think it's a nice song that I can just softly get up and move to. But if I'm looking for something crazy to let loose to, I genuinely feel like Party Rock Anthem is something that will never let you down. And sometimes my siblings and I will just play songs like that, like older 2000s music and go off and let loose. We love that. Tiffany's like she called the 2000s older.
Yep, I sure did. It's okay. It's okay. It is the correct term for it. It just still makes me go, oh my God, I'm old. But I love that it's still around and that the youngins are still listening to it. So,
Yes.
oh boy. Thank you, Viveka. You have truly a brand of someone who is open and very positive and gracious behind it, as well as super capable. And there are students that, without much interaction, that we just know are going to go places. And that no matter where the wind takes them, like you have said, that wherever it takes them, they are going to make a splash, an impact, a ripple effect. They're going to be the people that people talk about. That word makes it back to us. That the wonderful intern that we had is now doing this amazing thing out in the world, and you are certainly one of those students. They tend to be a little few and far between. All of our students do great things, but some of them do extra great things. And I feel like that is what you are setting yourself up for. So thank you for sharing the tips, the tricks, kind of how you have found your way here. And I would bet someone can take something, but multiple somethings from this episode on how they can do that themselves. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your kind words. And I like to just highlight that I think a lot of the amazing student experience does come from being surrounded by such incredible people who are very inspiring. And I've had the opportunity to kind of, look at you and Paul and take away from this is what I would like to do in the future and these skills and these specifically interpersonal skills are things that I would love to develop as well. So I think, yeah, I would just like to recognize that you guys have been amazing to work with over the last 12 months, and I have learned a lot from you guys.
Well, the joy is mutual. Thank you. All right, key takeaways. And I feel like we should tape duh, it is being taped, but hang on to this because she's going places. So this will be the time that we got takeaways from Viveka. Yeah.
Mhm.
I really appreciated, she mentioned it more than once, but she purposefully chose to change behavior and mindset to come out of her shell. We often label ourselves into whether it's introverted, extroverted, or like pick whatever label you are using. So much of that is actually choice, and that we
Mhm.
have the ability to shift if we truly want to, and there's value in it. And she did, and oh my God, what a shift she made. But it was
Mhm.
intentional and purposeful, and she knew that she didn't have to just succumb to a label, if you will. And there's power in that for someone so young to
Yeah.
figure that out too, no less. Yeah.
I truly think she's ahead of the curve when it
Oh
comes
yeah.
to branding and understanding of self. And what a wonderful, yeah, just what a wonderful person to have on. So I thought that
Hmm.
was really great. I loved when she talked about when she first started here, she wanted to have lots of one-on-one meetings to just learn about what people did. I cannot recommend that enough. When you start in an organization to connect
Hmm.
with the people that you're going to be working with, ask them what they do, ask them what they enjoy about their work, ask them about
Hmm.
challenges that they've had. Ask them how you can collaborate together. Man, sky's the limit from a culture perspective. I think we take a lot of pride in the culture that our career and work integrated learning team has.
Yep.
She got to meet some great people. So I think at the end of the day, I love that piece of advice. That's my key takeaway from
Hmm.
today.
Fabulous, and so tangible too. Just you
Yeah,
can put that into practice now. If you're in a job and you haven't done that, so start. It does
yeah,
not need to be at the beginning either. How can
yeah,
you connect with people? Cool.
yeah.
We don't actually know what we're going to talk about next week. Who the heck
We'll
knows?
see.
So come back and find out, but we will catch you next week. Thanks for tuning in to the Career Boosters podcast. We hope you had a blast. Yeah, we know that's corny. Catch you next time, and remember to subscribe wherever you enjoy podcasts.